Dude, it is super hot outside. Yeah, I am not trying to partake. What's up, YouTube? It's Nick with WashForce. I'm back with another video, and it has been a hot minute. It has been a long time since we've uploaded anything. Yeah, my bad. It's been a super busy season this year. We've been extra big on growth mode this year, so we've been expanding. I have something new to announce, change of scenery that's coming soon. Whoopty. Yeah, but today I wanted to break down something that I feel like is absolutely crucial for running a business right now in 2025, something that I haven't really seen a whole lot of on YouTube for like-minded business owners, people that are in the contractor and, you know, home improvement space right now. I feel like a lot of people are definitely missing this video, and a lot of people just need this too. This is good for, you know, your business and for your mental mindset. What I think that we need to do today, guys, is we need to cover how you guys can set expectations in 2025 for yourself and for customers. I feel like that's what we need to do today. I wanted to take the time right now out of my day to make this video because it's been a hot minute since I've made a video. So yeah, enjoy this one right now. And none of these are in particular order right now. I'm just kind of going to be spitting off the top of my head a few different subjects that I feel like are, you know, needing to be touched on for a few different people. So in no particular order, maybe I'll save the best for last. We'll start off with number one right now, get straight into this video. Really don't want to waste a whole lot of your guys' time, and that's just going to be setting expectations with the obvious with the client. That's going to be setting expectations with clients, guys. So when it comes to residential and commercial clients, we definitely want to be crystal clear and upfront, because this is going to save you guys a lot of headaches later. So you guys might have seen a few other YouTubers in this space, the cleaning industry, talk about this, but you guys definitely want to be very honest about your guys' results. You know, you don't want to beat around the bush and act like you're going to be somebody that you're not. You know, don't over deliver, don't over promise anything. You know, if you guys see something that your business is not capable of doing, whether it be a super big yard that you guys have never cut before, or some kind of oil stain that is just beyond dark that you know for a fact you're not going to be able to get it all the way out, you know, you never want to really use words like it's for sure, you know, or positive. You don't want to use absolute language. You don't want to say it's going to 100% be done. You know, you always want to say that things are going to look better. You know, you always want to put things out there and just tell them that, you know, whatever it may be that you're jumping into, whether it be something along the lines of some super big yard that you guys have not cut before, or some kind of oil stain, you just want to have your expectations set with what you guys are capable of achieving. So on the note of pressure washers, since that's what we do, if you guys are going to be cleaning some kind of stain that's out of your realm, out of your guys' scope, you know, let them know that it's going to be better, and it's going to be better than what it was. You know, there's definitely a lot of verbiage that you guys can be taught on exactly what to say for each scenario, but you should definitely focus on making sure that if it's something that you are capable of getting cleaned all the way out, you never want to use that absolute language. You always want to have some kind of like back end, you know, something to fall on, saying that it's going to be, you know, 90 to 95% better, but it may not be brand new. You know what I mean? You don't want to always have everything be 100% guaranteed. With these same things, guys, you want to make sure that you're putting stuff in writing too as well. It kind of sounds OD, I know, but nowadays that's what it is. You're going to have some people that are super sticklers, super Karens, that, you know, you overpromised beforehand because you're new into the business and you just didn't know what you were getting into, and you just saw the big ticket in front of you, so you overpromised and you underdelivered, and you didn't have things in writing that it was only going to be 90% lifted out, you know, not 100%. So definitely want to make sure that you guys are getting in the habit of doing that. If your CRM doesn't have some kind of quote system that allows for them to sign a contract, look into that. You know, DocuSign is out there. There's free versions of that, and I'm sure there's many other softwares that you guys can implement into your business that will allow you to have some kind of, you know, contract in writing that, you know, will save your butt in the long run. So for commercial jobs, you guys definitely want to set the schedule. You guys want to have a point of contact too as well that you guys are able to reach out to for this. So you guys always want to make sure that you guys have the scope of work for your commercial stuff laid out super in detail. So if you guys are going going to be doing an apartment complex, or if you guys are going to be doing a retirement center, and it's going to be multiple townhomes, multiple big homes at the same time, you guys really got to make sure that that contract that we were just touching base on is super crisp. That thing has to be like line by line. Make sure you guys are not just going into ChatGPT saying, give me a contract for this, taking the first thing that it spits out and going with that. You know, you guys definitely got to put some effort into your contract once you have it set in place. Don't think that it's a set and forget contract. I definitely think that for us, at least, for every large contract that we have that's going to be an ongoing commercial thing, we usually tweak the contract for each person, because there's going to be a little bit that's different for each contract. So definitely keep that in mind. You know, you guys want to have a good template in place, but you guys are going to be looking at that contract for every large commercial contract each time. So get in the habit of doing that now if you haven't already. That's going to help you lock in for the future with setting those expectations, not just for your residential guys, but for your commercial people, because as you level up with your business, you want to make sure that your commercial clients are prioritized and that you have all of your guys' stuff figured out. Sorry, I'm receiving a call right now from one of my technicians. Give me 2 seconds to pause. All right, guys, we are back now. Sorry about that. I had to take a quick couple seconds to help somebody out. Earlier today, we had a radiator hose bust on our truck that has the skid on it right now, and that was just, you know, a fiasco in itself to deal with. Luckily, we were able to get a hand out there to go and help replace this part, and Adrian, being who he is, bossed up and replaced the whole thing on the side of the road. So whoop-dee, got that whole thing figured out. Back into it though, guys. You know, number 2 for today, we're gonna jump into the next thing here. We talked about how we want to set expectations for our clients, both residential and commercial, but the next thing that we really want to set expectations for is marketing. So to acquire these customers right now, you really got to have some expectations set for yourself, for your whole business here. You guys really need to know that it just comes down to a game of consistency. That's what it really is. You know, I mean, there's absolutely no guarantees with any marketing strategy that you implement, but there definitely can be some systematic results. So don't expect every flyer, every call, you know, every door knock to land a job right away. You know, sometimes leads definitely will take, you know, they'll take a few weeks, they'll take a few months for it to close. So, you know, you guys got to stay patient with that. You got to always just be like planting seeds. So, you know that if you guys bomb the whole neighborhood with door hangers, instant quotes, or if you guys EDDM'd, you know, 1 time, 2 times, and you, oh, Nick, I did 600 EDDM flyers and I didn't see jack shit from that. Well, you have to have consistency. You can't just do it 1 time, 2 time, and I'm sure you guys have heard that before, but you know, it definitely takes the mindset of knowing where to set the expectations. I can make a whole nother video of how you should, you know, try and tackle this year's marketing strategies a little bit more in depth than what I did in the beginning of this year. But you know, you guys definitely need to be doing some targeted marketing and be consistent with it, you know, whether it be online, in person with your door hangers and your street signs and all your paper marketing. But you guys definitely need to be consistent, because you got to have your expectations set that you're planting seeds, and that by having this brand awareness being built, you know, over time, those door hangers that you sent 3 months ago, 4 months ago, they're going to convert. Or those EDDM flyers, whatever that you sent out, those are going to convert. So just give it a little bit of time. You know, not everything is going to be the next day you're going to get a call, but at the same time, be ready, because all of a sudden that spring rush hits and you guys are shitting bricks because you don't have enough people to answer the phone calls. So yeah, we ran into that this year, and you guys are definitely going to be on the right track if you stay consistent and you don't give up after that 1 batch of yard signs, that 1 batch of EDDM flyers, or 1 batch of door hangers, whatever it may be, so on and so forth. First time Google ad, you can't expect that the first time that you do Google ads, especially if you're doing it yourself and you're not having a digital marketing agency take that over for you. You guys got to be realistic, man. You are gonna be, you know, throwing a needle in a haystack and, you know, hoping for the best right now when you go to find a lead, whenever you go in there to find it. So you guys definitely need to have those expectations set clearly. I think that consistency is the key thing to touch with that. And I think most importantly, you guys want to track your numbers, because marketing is definitely about volume and, learning and adjusting, not, getting rich off of, one Instagram post, one Facebook post, one TikTok, or whatever it is. So it's definitely about volume. It's definitely about tracking those numbers and, learning what works for your business and what doesn't work for your business. So this is where building systems comes into play early on, because you guys are going to be, experimenting with multiple channels of marketing when you first open up your business. So definitely track your numbers, see what works, what doesn't work, and keep moving forward from there. You guys don't just want to put all your eggs in one basket and call it a day. So that's number 2 for today, guys, setting expectations with marketing. We're going to move on to number 3 right now. Like I said, none of these are any really specific order, but number 3, that is going to be setting expectations with new techniques and operations. So guys, I feel like this one is super, super crucial, because I don't think a lot of people talk about this. So if you guys are new, which most of you guys watching this video and a lot of people who consume pressure washing content are new business owners, or generally new within the first few years, you got to really understand that you are new. Keyword new. All of this around you is new. All of the chemicals that you're mixing, all of the tools that you're trying to experiment with, the surface cleaners, the ball valves, and just what may seem basic is a lot, because you're definitely having a whole lot going on at once. So definitely understand that if you guys are in the midst of learning new equipment, new chemicals, how to mix things, at the same time that you're trying to implement new services, whether it be now all of a sudden you're window cleaning, now all of a sudden you're doing gutters, now all of a sudden you're doing paver sealing, whatever it may be, list goes on and on and on. Mindset of the entrepreneur can definitely become sporadic, and you guys can definitely branch out and spread yourself too thin. Definitely want to make sure that you view yourself as a tree and that you build your trunk super, super strong before you start getting spread too thin and you have your branches break off on you. So definitely one of the things that you can do is, just keep in mind that when you're in business, like a tree, you are forever evolving. So, keep that mindset and know that, when you're trying a new technique, new workflow, new chemicals and all that stuff, it's definitely going to be messy at first. You want to document what works and keep notes. So if you guys are trying some kind of new surfactant for a roof wash, shout out Slow-Mo. If you guys are trying, a new sand for paver sealing, if you guys are doing a new chemical for your fleet wash, if you guys are trying out just something as simple as a brush, whatever it may be, it is new to you and it is new to your business, so you have to set expectations accordingly. So if you guys already have a system in place that says we on average get driveways done, roof washes done, whatever it may be done in X amount of time, and you guys are used to your operations team moving at that speed, well, you just threw a new stick in the fire, and now all of this, all of a sudden things might have moved quicker, things might have went slower, whatever it is, but that comes back to keeping notes on what works and what doesn't work. So you guys definitely have to have your expectations set that if you get a new piece of equipment, you guys are implementing a new workflow, a new strategy on how to rinse something down, or a new strategy on how to cut that grass, or whatever it may be, or lay down your pavers. You guys definitely gotta keep it in the mindset that first couple jobs that you're doing, there's going to be a learning curve. So build that into those quotes, or have it set for labor. Have a preset labor payroll budget that you save up, extra money in that reserve, so that you guys are, well cushioned for a few extra hours of labor, so that you guys know that, the new guys that are out there experimenting with that new soft wash pump, or you guys just all of a sudden converted from your first 4-gallon machine to an 8-gallon minute, whatever it may be, you guys definitely need to have it set that there's going to be a learning curve, and there's nothing wrong with that. I think that obviously, as we know, as a tree grows and as you evolve, new things are going to come, and that's the fun part about business, guys, is that with this new equipment, with new services that you provide, with new operating workflows, you know, it is going to be messy at first. Mixing those chemicals for the first time, you're going to be wilding, but you're going to figure it out. So definitely know that, you know, you want to keep notes and know that, you know, your little successes that you see, you know, you want to celebrate those whenever you guys do see something new that you implemented did improve your guys' workflow overall. If it shows you guys are growing, then, you know, you definitely want to stick with that. Another thing on that with your team, if you guys are at the point where you guys have a team in your business, if you're not a solo entrepreneur anymore, if it's you, your buddy, and, you know, one or two other workers that are with you guys, you definitely want to build a culture where learning is expected. So even if it's just yourself, you obviously want to, from the get-go, you know, implement a learning mindset. You know, you as an entrepreneur, solopreneur, you know that everything is a learning curve, and that it's not just the operations, it's the sales and the marketing. You're going to have to be learning new things all the time, but implement that in your team. Let everybody know that what you do at WashForce, what you do at your business, is a learning thing. You guys are every day learning something new, because that's what it's all about, right? So definitely build that into your culture. You know, not every day will be perfect, and that's fine, guys. So number 3 is definitely going to be setting expectations with new techniques and operations. Enjoy that one. Yeah. All right, guys, setting into number 4 here. This is going to be the second to last here. This is going to be setting expectations with equipment. So this kind of piggybacks off what we were just talking about, but this is crucial, especially as a new guy. Like I said, a lot of these people watching these videos, they're new. So you really want to set your guys' expectations with equipment accurately. You guys do not want to expect that if you just bought the creme de la creme trailer, you went out and shelled out $20,000 on something, it is going to do it all for you. You know what I mean? Because if we just talk equipment straightforward as we can, all of it will fail on you, period. It is a matter of time. So everything is meant to be replaced. Everything is going to be changed at one point. Guys, if you are in the exterior cleaning business and you guys are pressure washing, you guys are soft washing, you guys are dealing with a bleach on a daily basis, expect that the equipment that you are using will have a lifetime to it. There is not going to be a pump or some kind of hose or some kind of quick connect or something that you can buy that is the do all, save all. This one is just better than that one, and now you got it for life, guys. You're not going to be able to find that. There are a handful of tools that you might be able to pass down, you know, from you know, yourself. Grandpappy had this ball valve his entire life, and you know that you might get away with a handful of things here, but generally, guys, 95% of the equipment is going to be replaced at some point or another. So you got to really realize that if you're jumping into this head first right now, you're a weekend warrior who's maybe thinking about going full-time now, realize that you're going to have multiple hiccups in the road, guys. You got to understand that, you know, you don't want to wait for things to break down on you and wait for that hiccup to come. You got to just be thinking ahead of time. Take this advice if you can, and know that if you have even just a basic 2.3 gallon per minute you just started, or a 4 gallon per minute machine, you guys are, you know, treading through the beginning stages of your business, you definitely want to make sure that if there's any type of spare part that you can have on deck and you can afford to have it on deck, buy it at that exact moment that you can afford to buy it. Please do it as soon as you can, guys. You do not want to wait until you need it to happen and it's blowing up on you. Now you have to stop and do, you know, an entire day's worth of maintenance just so you can get caught up. And especially when you're in there, those early stages with the 2.3 gallon or a 4 gallon. I hope you're not starting with the 2.3, but you know, that was me and Adrian, so I couldn't blame you if you did. But if that's you, I know that each job, every minute is super crucial, because you're not able to slide. You're not able to go as fast as the guys with the automatic trailers, with the skids that can just pull up in there real tight, throw everything out, bang it out, be done in 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, you know, get most jobs done in an hour's time. So you got to be able to realize that if you're still running your beginner setup, which there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. Me and Adrian ran that setup for a long time and made plenty of money, tens of thousands of dollars with a 2.3 gallon. But while you're in that stage, you have to set yourself up for success, guys. You have to, assume that your pumps, your hoses, and, your tiny little general pump surface cleaners are going to break on you guys. Everything has a life cycle, so plan accordingly. The other thing on that is definitely budget for repairs and backup units. So instead of being surprised, obviously, if you can have a reserve, which I'll have another video on which bank that we use specifically in the future, but if your bank allows you to have sub accounts, I would definitely strongly advise you guys to have some kind of emergency savings that you guys would have set up for this, so that if any type of pump or hose or whatever it may be goes bad, you got a little bit of bread set aside so that you guys can cover your ass on that one. So definitely take that advice with a grain of salt. Number 4 was setting expectations with your equipment. So now moving on to number 5, jumping straight into the one that is the most important, I would say, on this list, even though the rest of these were in absolutely no order in particular. This one is definitely going to be what you might have thought was going to be number 1, first thing in this video, and that is setting expectations with yourself. So me, guys, you got to be thinking realistically. You got to realize that growth takes time. You got to realize that you have to build habits, guys, not just hype and excitement for yourself, because excitement fades in entrepreneurship. You're going to have stretches of time where the excitement from when you first started that business is not there. You're a year deep into it. You're 6 months into it. You're 2 years, 3 years, whatever it is, and the initial hype from when you first started your business has slowly fizzled away. You guys definitely need to be building early on really good habits, really good systems. I'm not going to sell you a course and tell you what those systems need to be. You're going to know what those systems need to be, guys. You just really need to sit there and lock in with those habits as soon as you can, because you don't want to wait until 6 months in, 7 months in, and build a schedule for your business. If you guys are working a job while you're starting your business, there's nothing wrong with that. You just need to, early on, one of the first habits that you need to set for yourself, if you take any advice from me, would be to set a work schedule and stick to it. If you're working 40 hours a week at your primary job that you have right now, your W-2 job, good for you. Now you need to figure out what days you're off and the times that you are off during your regular shift, after work, when you can fit it in, when you can clock in, and when you can be working when everyone else is not. So figure out what that schedule is and stick to it. If you can, guys, I really recommend to push yourself hard. Even though hours do not determine success, hard work does not necessarily determine success. There's a lot of people who have the mindset that think that if you just slave yourself, work crazy hours, you're going to automatically be successful, and hard work does not always equal success. You definitely have to think smarter before you work harder. But when you're first starting this business, I can say, if you can dedicate your guys' self the first 6 months, if you can be working at least 5 days out of the week, 40 hours a week, you're going to see exponential growth versus the weekend warrior, which there's nothing wrong with. But take your time, definitely set the expectation within yourself, and know that those habits that you start early on, that's what's going to develop into a successful business in the long run. And you guys are going to build a culture within your team, within yourself, that just expects everyone to learn new things, expects everyone to just share the same values that you did early on when you first started this. So definitely want to tell you guys that, another really big thing to remember is that you got to track your progress. I told you about taking notes with, what works and doesn't work with marketing and a few other things that you should be jotting down. But guys, you really need to realize that real progress is not always monetary. So if you guys see results in systems built, customer retention, if you guys, if you see that you guys are able to grow in more than one area than just money, you're definitely going to realize that you guys are here for the long haul, and you're not just here for the short 1 or 2 burnout, and you're already winning. So once you guys are able to celebrate the small wins, and you guys are able to recognize that you just getting a new piece of equipment, or you sending out that email campaign and getting one of your old customers to come back in and be cycled back in at the top of that funnel, you know, you guys are going to be able to celebrate those small wins and make a business out of this, because you're not just going to be focused on that next big $10,000 contract, or your first $1,000 house wash, or your first $500 roof, or whatever it may be. I don't know. But you guys definitely want to make sure that you set the bar low, and that when you have achieved those small wins and you guys have gotten just those tiny little W's, pat yourself on the back. You know, go out for that pizza party, you know, take a couple shots, smoke a couple doinks, do whatever you need to do, you know, get right, because you guys definitely are the only one that's making the wheels go around with your business. So continue to celebrate the small wins. So that's it for me, guys. I wanted to make a quick little video for you all. I hope you guys are enjoying the spring rush as much as we are. Adrian is out right now, like I said, banging out jobs for us. Definitely proud of our team, proud to see where we are this year. Yeah, if you guys enjoyed this type of content, please leave a comment down below. Tell me which one of these 5 pieces of advice for expectations you feel like is going to help you in your business the most. Also, don't forget to subscribe so you can continue seeing content like this and my beautiful face. All right, y'all. Peace out. See y'all on the next one.